So Dan, I wanted to get your take on some recent announcements and some cutting edge activation trends. So I know you have experience with Turner Audience Now. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so Turner Audience Now has been a really interesting product for us. We tested it 2 quarters ago. We actually found that it was really effective at finding our unique audience within the overall kind of spectrum of what Turner has in the marketplace. So we did the product that's called Audience Now as opposed to the Targeting Now product. And so in that instance, we're really looking for concentrations of our audience. We're able to define it differently and able to find kind of pockets within their overall, their networks. And we were able to find 20, 30% plus indices just by shifting inventory around and taking advantage of capabilities that they have. So I felt like to me, that was one of the more interesting offerings in the marketplace because it actually didn't have us walking away from some of the core tenets of how we go to market. It didn't have us kind of unleashing the reins entirely and handing it over to our partner. We were kind of much more collaborative and we were able to kind of work within constraints to find advantage, which was really a net benefit for us instead of kind of essentially saying, okay, well, we permit you to go find the audience anywhere, even if it's 2 o'clock in the morning on a show that maybe we're not comfortable with. So I thought that was a best of both worlds approach for us.
Good. So recent announcement of TubeMogul and Adobe. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think it's encouraging. I know that the ad tech space is pretty complicated. There's a lot of players and we're working with lots of different partners at any given time. And I think the one thing that we've found in trying to operationalize in that space is it's actually very difficult to find differentiation and to be able to understand kind of what's working and what's not in a partnership. And a lot of that is really just coming from the complexity of how you go to market. So anything that, in my opinion, reduces complexity and that also aligns with partners that we're already working with. So that particular alignment of 2 partners is great for us because TubeMogul is one of the DSP partners that we work with on an ongoing basis, and Adobe is the DMP partner that that Bank is building right now. So it's a great opportunity for us specifically as we work on Bank of America, but I also think it's a positive industry trend. We have to kind of have solutions that are more nimble and that don't kind of create 6-month ramp-up periods. Just getting used to working with a partner and what their idiosyncrasies are. That we kind of can have established partnerships that are many years long and that we kind of work together to build into something that's really kind of fine-tuned. So that's what I'm hoping kind of comes out of that trend of consolidation between DMP and DSP side strength.
Very good. So I know that you lead, your responsibility is to control a fairly large investment by Bank of America into the market. Could you talk a little bit about the trends you're seeing in traditional television and how you're extending your look at the television marketplace to encompass some of the new trends that are happening?
Yeah, for sure. So one of the big realities that we're dealing with is that traditional linear TV the supply is shrinking 10%-ish every year. So for us to find the audience, we can't be content in just developing linear TV programs and pushing them out. We're actually not able to scale. We're not able to get the reach that we would want just with that traditional approach to television. So we have to kind of follow the consumer, and one of the big trends is on-demand video. So whether that is consumed on an over-the-top device or whether that is consumed via their cable operators on-demand offerings, we're investing heavily in that space. We see it as a pretty big business opportunity as well because right now consumers are spending a lot of time there and advertisers are not. So the environments are much cleaner. They're much freer of advertising clutter, and we think that consumers are actually much more engaged as well when they consume over the top. They've made a very discrete decision to say, I want this piece of content now, and where an advertiser can kind of come alongside and do it in an advertising light way, a non-intrusive way, that's very additive for the brand that's activating there. So we're even experimenting with different ways of kind of acknowledging too certain behaviors that are unique for that space. So binging is something that we only started talking about for the last couple of years, and it's very prevalent in over-the-top and on-demand environments. So we've actually started to build messaging for and in recognition of that binging behavior. And so it's something that we actually deployed with Hulu this year, where we're able to kind of build a segment that says, okay, we recognize that you've consumed more than 4 hours of content in the last 12 hours. So it's a clear binging opportunity. So we actually deliver a unique message in that essentially says something on the order of, are you ready for a break? And we kind of deliver an advertising message that recognizes the consumer behavior, and it does something unique in the space. So it's kind of a little bit of a wink-wink moment where we're like, we get you, we know you're binging, and we want to kind of do something unique for you. So I think that's another behavior that is very consumer-led, and we're trying to be mindful of that as a brand and kind of build solutions that are unique for that.